and gentlemen, hello, 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 hey now, and a hey now, and a hey now. Welcome to hour number 2 of the line, Talk 99.5 and Talk99.5.com, Mclain.com. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad you're here today, my friends. As we had a really weird first hour. So I think we've been heavy on the news for the past bunch of days, and rightfully so. But it's kind of like the news has slowed down a little bit today, John Bird. I kind of, I can kind of get those vibes in the morning when I'm putting the show together. We've had heavy stuff for, all last week was pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this week, we had the assassination attempt on Saturday, which really set the tone for the week. And then I feel like we're kind of on that downhill slope on this Thursday. And that's why I'm asking people on the text line if they want to change their name to King Duty Britches or whatever it is y'all are asking for. So it's just it's one of those days. Like sometimes we just gotta, loosen our belt, if you will. Not take our pants off, but just loosen the belt. You don't take your pants off until Friday.
That's right.
Fun King Pantsless Friday.
Mm-hmm. It's not casual Friday. It's Fun King Friday. Go naked. Woo!
Where your clothes at? Where your clothes at,
yeah,
Friday?
Where your clothes at?
Where your clothes at? All right, if you want to get in, 205. I mean, we've done everything from changing names to asking Crank to pick songs to matching people with cats, fostering kittens, all kinds of stuff. E says, can you change my name to Tripod?
Done.
Done and done. No problemo. Some of y'all are putting stuff on the text line I can't even read. Especially when my wife texts me and says her grandmother's listening to the show. I'm really going to pump the brakes a little bit.
Oh.
Because she loves me. Her grandma loves me, but I don't, I don't want to ruin that relationship by having her listen to this radio program.
Yeah, really.
At that point, it's over with, I'm sure. I did, however, I cooked some chocolate chip cookies a couple days ago and sent them to her, and she says the best cookies she's ever had in her life and wants to know when she can get more of
You need
them.
to do a recipe book is what you need to do.
Well, I mean, they're nothing special. It's just about...
Well, you say that about all your food, but what I've had is just been out of this world, and you're always like, I don't know if I get the spices right, this and that. Dude, are you kidding, man?
Well, what I mean by that is I'm just buying a bag of, pre-made cookie dough balls that you just put on a baking sheet. And the key is just pulling them out at the right time. There's no real, I'm not making cookie dough and...
No, but the timing and everything, you have a natural sense of when to make the move.
Oh, I screwed up 5 or 6 batches before I got it right. Because what you got to do is when you look in there and it looks like they're nowhere close to being done, that's when you pull them out.
Yeah, because they still cook, just like a steak resting.
Yeah.
They're still cooking inside. That's right.
And so you pull them out when they look like they're nowhere near being done, and then by the time they cool off, they're like soft-to-bake cookies, and they stay soft. They're amazing.
Yum.
Little tip for you. Hello, I'm Richard Dixon, and I'm here to tell you how to make your cookies. You're welcome. Let's see. Change my name to Swamp Dog, says Jimmy.
Done.
And all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you should actually do it because we're already.
It's gonna get me fired. What we need to do is we'll put a list, and I'll give you a list every day.
Give me a cross reference.
Yeah, and you have the cross reference.
But think about how funny it would be. You tune into the morning show. At the end, Richard Dixon always starts reading text messages. And to hear him say all these crazy names as he's reading them off. They're like, wow, we've got a lot of new listeners, but they sure have some strange names.
I believe that Skippy may have had something to do with this.
I believe Skippy has been messing with the text line again. What a child. What an immature child. Yeah, that's what we do, man. That's what we do. All right, 205 545 9950 if you want to get in. 545 9950. What is it?
Just had one come in. Just hit me funny. Charlie says, my new name is Dookie Nukem. So 13 years old.
Dookie Nukem. That's what we used to call it. You remember the Duke Nukem video game from back in the day?
Yes.
We used to call Duke. We'd call it Dukem Nukem, not Dookie Nukem, but Dukem Nukem.
Okay, that's a little twist on it. I like that.
David says he wants his to be the. Read David's. Can I say that? Rock hard guy.
Well, you pretty much already.
I thought it said something else. I thought.
Oh no, I know what you thought it said. No, you can do this one. Yeah.
It says rock hard geologist. I thought it said gynecologist.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it. No, but that's someone who likes to listen to heavy metal when they're working out in the field.
Oh, that's what that means.
Sure.
I gotcha. Okay. Rob says change his name to Pile Driver.
Man, I have a hard time keeping up. I have to get another sheet of paper.
Sean from Coleman says you're the Greg Gutfeld of 99.5. It's probably why I act the way I do. I really do like Greg Gutfeld. He's about the only one I want to watch on Fox News these days.
Man, I mean, he's just so much better than anything on late night.
He is, man. He's so funny. It's him and Jesse. Jesse, I feel like this side of me is the Gutfeld side, and then when I get into the newsy stuff, that's my Jesse side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if I could just take those two and put them together, that would be the perfect. Like if we could have a host that was a mix of both of those, that would be.
Well, you just described yourself as a mix of both of them, so perfect host.
Is that what I am?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Here's a stamp. You perfect host.
Am I a Jesse Gutfeld?
Yes.
I'm Jesse Gutfeld, or Greg Waters, which sounds like wasn't there a band named Greg Waters, a band singer?
I don't know. Most likely, I would say it sometime.
What was the singer of Pink Floyd's name?
Oh, it was David Gilmour was one, and then Roger Waters.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Roger Waters.
Hello. Is there anybody out there?
You're so weird.
Why? Well, I mean, that's just forget it. I'm done. I'm turning this.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about what happened earlier this week with the Supreme Court ruling, or actually, was it yesterday? Yesterday and the day before, with the Supreme Court ruling on the fact that you can't redraw district lines based on race because that would be racist, which seems like common sense.
I know, it's so obvious.
But because of that, this is why that ruling is so important. Republicans could gain dozens of House seats after the Supreme Court outlaws the racial gerrymandering, and here's how. Estimates indicate that weakening Section 2 enforcement could ultimately produce even larger gains, with Axios reporting that 27 seats could shift towards Republicans over time. 27 seats. Think about the razor-thin margin we have in the House now. And if 27 seats over the next few years go to Republicans, that's pretty good news. And those changes would be concentrated primarily in southern states where previous maps have been challenged and altered to create additional minority districts. We dealt with that here in Alabama. So with the court ruling that racially gerrymandering maps are unconstitutional, states now have broader authority to redraw districts using traditional and political considerations rather than racial targets. That is a huge change from what we've been dealing with over the past few years, with the Louisiana case being at the center of that. Yet, Barry Soetoro, Barack Hussein Obama. He has to be the one to come out to say, this is wrong, this is racist, and it's unbelievable that the Supreme Court would rule in such a manner. He said, so today's Supreme Court decision effectively guts a key pillar of the Voting Rights Act, freeing state legislators to gerrymander legislative districts to systematically dilute and weaken the voting power of racial minorities, so long as they do it under the guise of partisanship rather than explicit racial bias, quote unquote. And it serves as just one more example of how a majority of the current court seems intent on abandoning its vital role in ensuring equal participation in our democracy and protecting the rights of minority groups against majority overreach. Now, here you have an example of Barack Obama attacking the Supreme Court, okay? Explicitly attacking the Supreme Court. Yet when Trump says something about the Supreme Court because they don't rule in his favor, everybody's like, oh my God, he's attacking our institutions. I can't believe. And you know what the difference is? Barack Obama attacks the court in an eloquent way. He does it in a very structured and a very professional way. Donald Trump comes out and says, hey, the Supreme Court is stupid, in all caps. It's the only difference. But they're both attacking the Supreme Court, which is their right as president to do. He says the good news is that such setbacks can be overcome, but that will only happen if citizens across the country who cherish our democratic ideals continue to mobilize and vote in record numbers, aka cheat. Not just in the upcoming midterms or in high-profile races, but in every election and every level. That's what Barack Obama says. He says, guts a key pillar of the Voting Rights Act, which the translation of that would be, how dare they stop us from rigging districts by skin color to keep Democrats' seats. Barack Obama spent 8 years dividing America by race, and now he's mad the court finally said equal protection under the law actually means equal. Crazy. He wants to create congressional ghettos using black people as pawns to rig power for more race communism. If white people were doing the same thing, or if they were redrawing districts based on white people, Democrats would be burning the cities down. It's wrong. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. It is the rule of law. It's very simple. It's literally racist to require states to consider race while drawing districts. That's all the Supreme Court's saying. It's saying you can't look at the color of people's skin to decide where your districts are going to be drawn. That sounds like a crazy idea in the first place if we are in this place in America where we're not judging people by the color of their skin. But yeah, the Democrats are like, yes, we have to judge them by the color of their skin. Obama's the biggest race baiter there ever was and still continues to be. It's crazy. But a big win for the Republicans, for the Constitution, and for keeping Democrats out of power going forward, which is my number one concern. I get just as frustrated with Republicans as you do, but guess what? I hate Democrats more than I love Republicans. That's for sure. And I'll do whatever I got to do to keep Democrats out of power because they are the biggest threat to the United States of America and to the American people. You've got two sets of individuals that are the enemy of the people. That is the Democrat Party, and that is the mainstream media. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did somebody else do this song originally?
I'm not sure. Maybe so, but I think he always did his own stuff.
He never did any cover songs.
I don't think so. I mean, I've heard a few of his songs, and I've always meant to be a co-head, but I never did.
David Allen Cole. Okay, he's the original singer of that one. What's the? There was something I saw on a post. I think it was from one of the local news outlets, and they tried to attribute a song to David Allen Cole that was actually a Johnny Paycheck song.
Oh, take this job and shove it.
That's what it
You can
was.
take this job and shove it.
Yeah, they tried to say that David Allen Coe sang that song. And
No.
that's Johnny Paycheck.
Yeah, that's Johnny Paycheck.
But it does sound kind of like a song David Allen Coe would do.
Yeah, but I mean, David Allen Coe, he's funny. He does some great stuff.
Yeah. And he's got a spotted history, man. He's got some
He's lived it.
he's got some songs out there that people would deem very incredibly offensive and racist and everything else, and what they dubbed them the dirty albums. And
Yeah.
I watched an interview with him where he talked about those songs and people calling him racist, and maybe he was racist, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I mean, you'd probably have to draw from listening to those songs, some of those songs, you'd have to draw the conclusion that he was racist, and that he comes from a different time. And he in this interview, it was just interesting to me. And I'm not saying one way or another, but he was talking about how one, he comes from a different time, that he doesn't consider himself racist. He said, but I spent 20 something years in prison, where in a prison that was 89% black people.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and that's the way people communicated in there. He's like, that's where I learned to speak and think and everything else. And he said, even, my band, he said, I had a black drummer that was married to a white woman. He said, the racist wouldn't do that. And of course, you can make the argument and everybody's going to have their own conclusion on that. But I thought it was fascinating to hear him talk about it, because I'd never seen that interview before. But he was, no matter what you think of him, he was a legend in his own right.
Americana, man. He was a part of Americana.
Yeah. Some huge songs out there, and he was definitely a part of country music. There was one time that didn't he get I don't remember if he got sued or he got robbed, or no, I think something happened and he was like suing a casino at one time. Do you remember this? I think he had won like a jackpot at a casino, and then the casino tried to come around and say, "No, we're not giving you that money," or something like that. And he gets in some big legal battle.
Yeah, them's fighting words. We ain't gonna give you money.
Let's see if I can. Sue's Casino. I'm trying to find the backstory on that. David Allen Coe sued the Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino in Altoona, Iowa, following a June 2008 incident where he was arrested after hitting a slot machine jackpot. It said, after hitting the jackpot, casino staff insisted on paying Coe directly rather than his wife, whose player's card was in the machine, causing a dispute over identification. The altercation, security guards allegedly cornered, tackled, and handcuffed Coe, leading to charges of disorderly conduct against him, while surveillance video allegedly corroborated Coe's version of events, and all criminal charges against him were dropped. His subsequent lawsuit against the casino was dismissed by a judge who ruled that the deputies involved were not technically casino employees. So, fascinating. Lord Jesus, I just need these headphones for one more day. Just let them make it through the show, please.
Yeah, come on, man. It's only 2.5 hours left.
Come on, Lord. I'm praying for these headphones. Praying for them. Yeah, so the backstory on that, it says a judge dismissed the case. He was suing the casino. So essentially, I think what happened was, as I go back through it, it said after hitting the jackpot, casino staff insisted on paying Coe directly rather than his wife, whose player's card was in the machine, causing a dispute over identification. So the dispute was his wife hit the jackpot, but they wanted to pay him instead of her. Of course, I don't see what the dispute is there. Like, just take the money, and then, if you and your wife don't keep your money together, which, by the way, for those of you that are married, I highly suggest y'all not separate your money. I think it is much smarter. And I understand maybe your spouse isn't physically responsible or whatever. And if that's the case, whoever's the most fiscally responsible, you kind of take charge. You'll do it together, but take charge and kind of help, deal the money out. But I think it's much better, and y'all do you. But I think it's much better if y'all put your money together. I think it causes a lot less stress, a lot less problems. But there's a lot of people out there that be like, you pay this bill and I'll pay this bill and everything else. And I personally couldn't do that, but whatever. Anyway, so if they're in a situation where they're like keeping their money separate, maybe that's what he was like. Well, it's her. She won the money. It said causing a dispute over identification. Security guards allegedly cornered, tackled, and handcuffed Coe, leading to charges of disorderly conduct against him. While surveillance video allegedly corroborated Coe's version of events and all criminal charges against him were dropped, his subsequent lawsuit against the casino, because apparently because he got arrested at the time, the casino never paid him the money. They said the case against, I guess the charges against the casino were, the charges against him were dropped, and his lawsuit against the casino was dismissed by a judge. So it doesn't say. I guess he was suing the casino for physical damages of being roughed up by the police. And
what about the winnings?
But that's what I'm questioning was did the casino say, no, you caused a problem, and so we've got a rule that you don't get paid because you're causing a disruption, which I'm sure they do have a rule that is like that in the casino. I'm sure most casinos do. They're going to look for any way not to pay you. And so I guess the casino didn't pay him, but he still thought to himself, well, I can get paid by saying I got, illegally roughed up or unjustly roughed up by police. The judge then says, well, the police are not casino employees, and you're trying to sue the casino, so that lawsuit's out of here. You can't tie the two. Coe claimed this incident resulted in back injuries that forced him to perform while seated and walk with a cane from there on out. So
whoa.
He suffered some lasting injuries because of the police altercation, and that was why he was suing the casino, and that lawsuit got dismissed. That's interesting. Interesting. They say it's important to note that David Allen Coe passed away on April 30th, as reported by Rolling Stone. I don't think he didn't pass away on the 30th. He passed away yesterday. I saw it yesterday.
Was it like after midnight, maybe?
Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe people were reporting that he had passed away before he was dead.
Yeah. Or, they just say overnight, and it could be either one.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually saw it. It popped up in my feed by a friend of his. You know how sometimes you get random pages will pop up in your feed, and you're like, you don't even know who it is? It was apparently some friend of David Allen Coe. So, anyway, man. And you got to imagine that David Allen Coe probably was hostile with the police when they show up. Because when you spend 20-something years in prison, you usually don't take kindly to police interactions. Most people.
Yeah.
Because you've been put into that mindset and you've probably seen some things, especially with what we know about the prison system now and what we've seen through the Alabama solution and all of that. There was somebody was telling me that Roderick Gadsden, however you pronounce his name, was about to retire. Now he's the cop that was in the movie that was interviewed, that was very pompous, and they were interviewing him about roughing up and treating inmates inhumanely and having all these allegations against him. And he's also accused of killing that one inmate, the Stephen, what was the guy's name? Stephen something. I don't remember his last name. But he was the main one. That Stephen guy was the main one at the beginning of the movie that died, and they were following his mom around. He was the one that allegedly killed him. And so that guy's still employed, and he's been promoted multiple times.
Promoted.
That dude's a real scumbag.
Piece of work.
He needs to be fired. I need to go back down the road of our big prison discussion. I've had multiple people reach out to me that are either part of prison reform organizations or family members of inmates that have reached out to me asking about coming on the show and telling their story. And I have done, I get so worked up and tied up in day-to-day life that I end up dropping the ball on some of that. So if you're somebody that is from the prison realm that has reached out to me and you didn't hear back from me, don't hesitate to email me again, and I'll touch base with you, because I'm really bad about not emailing people back. I see your emails. If you send them to my work email, I see them. I just don't always do a good job of hitting you back. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me tell you about TCW Construction. TCW. You ever think about that? You ever think about why they call WW?
Why?
Because it's like a double U. It's like two U's.
Oh, that's right. Except it's pointed, but it's still.
What's pointed?
The W.
Well, sometimes it
that
depends
goes
on
back
how
to
you
Roman.
draw
That
it.
goes back to Roman times.
Yeah, it's a double U. So how would you spell the letter W? Would you spell it DOUBLEU?
Oh, just W.
Or do you just spell it U, since it's a letter? Can you spell out a letter? Deep Thoughts with Andrew Mclain. Doesn't matter, though. TCW Construction for all your outdoor construction needs. Y'all know my buddy Trent, who I've been friends with for years now at this point. And as he's done work at my house, and I've seen the projects that he's done all over the place, he'll periodically text me with pictures of projects that he's working on, and they just get better every single time. I'm in awe when I see the projects that he puts together. Reach out to him. Let him know that I sent you, whatever it may be, walkways, pathways, which may be the same thing, retaining walls, seawalls, outdoor kind of entertainment centers, patios, if you will, flattening land, swimming pools, any sort of, cordoning off, or maybe a garden or something, whatever it is. If it's an outdoor project, Trent's got you. Stonework, all of it. Just hit him up. Let him know I sent you, and get him to come out and give you a free estimate. He's got you covered. Whether it's at your home or your business or whatever, he can make it happen, man. He does a little bit of everything. 205-389-3536. That's 205-389-3536. Online, tcwconstructionco.com. That's tcwconstructionco.com. Check out all the stuff they got going on. Lamar is in Bluntsville. Lamar, what's up?
Hey, man, I just love your show. And just talking about David Allen Cole a while ago and Johnny Paycheck, take this job and shove it. I remember back in the 70s and the early 80s, my mother used to sing in a band. It was in a bar. And Johnny Paycheck, when they wasn't up on stage, their
Yeah.
But I was thinking about some of the outlaw music back then, like Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. I was thinking, what about women outlaws that sung in that line of music? I guess Tanya Tucker would have been one of them that would have been that would have sung outlaw music, and maybe the one that was married to Waylon Jennings. I can't think of her name. Saved my life. But what about the women that sung outlaw music? Wouldn't you say Tanya Tucker would be one of them?
Yeah, I
Definitely.
would. Yeah, I'd put her in that category. Waylon Jennings was married to Jessie Coulter.
That's it. Yeah, she would definitely be.
Yeah.
She would be on that list for marrying him. But that was some of the best music back in the 70s to me, in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Some of this now, I don't even hardly listen to it. I still listen to the older music. It was still the best.
I think it. I mean, and even with it being from back then, I mean, it inspired some more modern music today. Not we've got kind of a dilution of pop country stuff, but I think it's kind of coming back around to where you are seeing kind of a subgenre of outlaw country that is much different than it was back then. But the inspiration was pulled from some of those guys, and they'll go down in history as some of the best.
Maybe Travis Tritt and Jason Aldean.
Yeah, Jason Aldean is up there. Yeah. Yeah,
but
for sure.
I can tell you like some of that music and but to me, the Eagles, that's one of my favorite groups of all time, and Take It to the Limit. But I just love those kind of bands. Leonard Skinner would definitely be some outlaw music for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe Molly Hatchet.
Yeah,
Molly Hatchet, man.
Yeah, Flirting with Disaster.
Yeah, Flirting with Disaster.
I'm flirting with disaster every day.
I seen a thing this morning. Grand Funk Railroad is still touring, and I'm like, God, I didn't know they were still touring.
Yeah, really? Well, you mentioned Willie Nelson a minute ago. Willie Nelson actually played at Avondale Brewery just like a week ago here in Birmingham.
Have you ever seen him?
No, I've never seen him live.
I've never seen him live, but I did go to that Kiss concert, that last one that come to Birmingham, me and my sons. I said, y'all should have seen them in the 70s when they were all together in makeup.
Yeah,
of course, they wasn't all together this last time, but they was. Ace and Peter was with them when he did go see them when they did that farewell tour. How many times they did that one, Serval?
Yeah.
He's seen them. Next thing I know, he come back with a shirt on, with a Kiss shirt. And I said, I told you they were better when they were all together.
Yeah.
Original band, but I guess they just couldn't get along.
Yeah, concerts in the 70s had to be wild, man. That's something. If I had a time machine, that's what I'd go back and do.
But I tell you what, I don't think nobody wanted to let Grand Funk Railroad open up for them because Grand Funk blew people off the stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Mark, he's still got that great voice.
Well,
yeah.
Good stuff,
We're
man.
An American Band. That was one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
By them.
There's so much good music from the past.
I love your show, man, and you take no prisoners on your show and give the liberals hell when they come on here. Or if they're listening, give them hell anyway.
That's right. Lamar, I appreciate it, buddy.
Take care.
That's what we're in the business. We're in the business of giving them hell, by God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was, if you look back, I mean, there was so much good music from back in the 70s and 80s. And it's interesting how, how certain generations view certain music. Like when you look at kind of what you grow up with, that music sticks with you, right? Throughout your whole life. And you always go back, and whether it's nostalgia or whatever, go back and view some of that music, and you listen to it, and you're just, it never gets old. You always love that stuff. But then if you think about the music that came before your generation, you end up falling in love with that stuff as well. In some cases, you grow up listening to it because that's what your parents are listening to.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I've noticed with the newer generations, they end up discovering stuff from your generation on their own.
Yep. And I will say one good thing about Apple and Spotify is if you just play one of those songs, You can get those artists in your algorithms, and it makes it easier to discover.
And that's that's the thing. It's the technology that's available and the way people consume music that I watch. My 16-year-old pulling up and listening to music that I grew up with. He doesn't take it back too far, but if I look at some of the 90s music that I grew up listening to, I'll catch him in a whole, you know, rabbit hole of listening to grunge alternative 90s esque music, rock music in particular. And he's like, man, this stuff is great. He's like, well, they just don't make music like this anymore. And he actually, and I think we might be at that point, and it's sad to say because you've got AI and the way people are making music. I don't know that I don't know if we'll ever get good original music like we used to. You know, I mean, it kind of felt like it started to drop off. And I'm thinking for me in particular, the rock realm, it started to drop off kind of around the late, I don't know, around, 2018, 2019.
Mm-hmm. And it was a gradual decline in the 2000s.
Yes, it
which
was.
Was really disappointing.
It just started, we peaked out and then it just started going downhill. And with back to technology, the way it is now with AI and everything else, I don't know that we're going to get any more, music that defies generations and defies time.
Yeah, and those generational songs, unfortunately, you have to dig for them. But there are a lot of those underground bands. You can even find them from different decades. There's some excellent stuff, but they're not promoted on those, like Apple Music or Pandora or whatever. So you've got to kind of dig for them. But there's some really good stuff if you can find it.
Yeah, and that may be what makes the comeback, because it's like our buddy Nick Nice says. He talks about life in circles, and I think that goes for just things in general, such as music. I think it ebbs and flows. It goes up, and then it goes down, and then it comes back around. And I think that's what we'll have. I think at some point, music will come back around as being good, original, time-defying music. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds in the world of music. Now, that actually is David Allen Coe. And we got about somewhere around half and a bazillion texts that David Allen Coe wrote, "Take this job and shove it." Johnny Paycheck performed it and never gave DAC the credit for it.
Scumbag.
What a loser. That he feels bad now, or is he dead?
I think he's gone.
Look at this. Look up at the TV. Chanel has unveiled a sandal that only covers your heel. And they're probably selling those sandals for $1,500.
It's like a weird Roman Pegasus looking thing.
That's so a shoe that only covers your heel. Look at that.
Different styles.
Stupid that looks.
Like, I'm like women are going to walk down the street in New York.
Yeah.
Wearing those, or San Francisco. What if you end up getting getting like a drug needle in your foot?
Women are big on walking around barefoot. I do notice that. Women like to be barefoot for some reason. I don't like it. I can't do it. I can't walk around barefoot. I can't walk around barefoot on the concrete, on rocks, on nothing. Can't do it. I can't do it. It's too much. All right, 205-545-9950. 545-9950. Call or text. It'll get you in the cut. Walter says, "Is this music day? I need to know why gas is up again. What's happening in Iran? Been out of touch. Mom's in the hospital." Yes, it is music day, as a matter of fact. It's like I said, man, it's, sometimes we have these days. It's just a matter of what happens when it happens. And gas goes up and down, as everybody knows. It's a globally traded commodity. But the futures look good, and the administration is putting things in place that's going to make this economy boom.